Hey friends, it's Missy with the Bella Boulevard Creative Team, and I am back today with a new layout. For today's page, I am featuring the Mind Your Manners collection. It's one of the newer collections, and it is super cute. I'm just going to do a quick show here of all of the things that come in it. There's some washi tape, the cute ephemera paper pieces. This kind of reminds me of a fall collection, even though there's some brighter colors in it. It's got lots of family-oriented things, houses. There's a couple of foxes, owls, birds, mushrooms, just all kinds of cute things. And it's very versatile. I'm going to make a family-related layout today. And when I first saw this beautiful, cute frame paper, I thought, I'm going to cut those frames out and create a design with those. And that was my first design idea. So I took some time to just start to cut out some of these frames, and I started this layout on one day, and then I had to stop, and then I had to pick it up again the next day, and my whole idea changed. And I love how that works in scrapbooking. You can come up with one idea and then totally change your mind, and that's what I did. I decided to go with a more of a fall feel instead of just using the frames. And here are the pictures that I've chosen. Me and my husband and my two girls, and you can see what happens when we try to get a family photo. My youngest, all of a sudden her legs are broken and she can't stand upright. My oldest has her fingers in her ears and she's crying because we made her come outside, and no one looks happy. But you know, that's how it goes in our family when we try to get family pictures. And so I've come to embrace those crazy pictures because that's how things go, and that's real life. And so I don't look at those as, oh, these pictures are ruined. I look at it and I laugh because that's how it was on that day, and so that's what I'm going to scrap. Now, I found some really pretty leaf cluster cut files from the Just Knix store, and that's where I got these two from. Actually, it's the same one. I just cut it twice. And I'm going to use some of the papers from the 6x8 paper pad to back these flowers. I just wanted some of the colors to show through the open spots of the leaves. And I used some of the multicolored pattern papers. I used some solids. I really love the pinks, the reds, the light blue, even a little bit of navy and orange in the mix. And I think it's a really fun color scheme. And so I've backed everything that I'm going to have showing. So I'm going to do one of those leaf clusters over on the right like you see, and then I'm going to run the other one off the page over on the left. So I'm going to do a little bit of mixed media work on my background first. I'm going to trace around so I know kind of where these die cuts are going to go. And I'm going to use this really pretty patterned paper from the collection as my background. It's gray. And I've been on a gray kick lately. I think I've made another layout recently with a gray background. And I just think it's fun, especially if you're using black and white pictures, because there's lots of gray in there. All I'm going to do is take some white gesso kind of all over the page where those die cuts are going to go. And I'm just going to smudge it with my fingers. And I know a lot of people that don't do mixed media think, oh my gosh, she's making a huge mess. What is she doing? And when you first initially start to do this, yes, it does look like a big old mess. But once you start to add things back on top of it and you start to add color and all of your embellishments and papers, it changes the way it looks. And I'm just trying to create a little bit of a hazy white cloud look behind everything. It's going to sort of fade out some of that pattern, and it's also going to create a white barrier for me to start to add some paint. But before I do that, I'm going to start to play around with placement and embellishments. I'm going to go back to some of those frames that I cut earlier, and I'm going to open up the paper pieces and just start to kind of look through everything and see what I want to add. Do I want to make this do I want animals on this layout? Do I want to keep it with just florals? Do I want to add some of the houses? There's so many things, and it's hard to pick and choose when everything is so cute. So my question here was, do I want to pull in some more of these other colors? Do I want to pull in the orange, the navy blue, the red? Because it's hard to see, but there are those colors in two of the leaves, actually, 3 of the leaves, I think. There is pops of red, orange, and navy, as well as the other colors that you see in the leaves. So I decided that I needed to raise up the cut files, so I added some foam behind all those leaves, and so now I'm going to have some dimension. And also I'm going to add some foam behind my pictures also. So what I did was I went through my paint stash and I picked out a really light blue color from my stash, and it's almost too light. You can barely see it. I was trying to get that light blue color to kind of add to the background, and I'm just using a brush. I'm using some spray here as well. This is a little bit more of a deeper blue, but it worked perfectly, and it wound up being the perfect shade for that light blue color. I'm just going to spray it directly on and then use my brush to kind of spread it around, and it's very light and very subtle. And the goal, my goal here was just to have some of this hazy blue kind of peeking out from behind the cut file. And adding paint to your background like this is a good way to pull out the colors from the papers that you are using. You know, the light blue is the lightest color, and so I thought that would be a pretty color for my background, just to kind of add some accents and some highlights to it and kind of make it stand out a little bit more. And you can see how much water I'm using here. You know, the gesso helps protect the pattern paper from tearing when you do use a lot of water like this. And so my paper was fine. So then I thought I would pull in some of the darker gray from the background and the pictures. And so I pulled out a darker gray spray, and I'm just going with a little bit here. I want to pull out some of the gray from the photos, the background paper, and I'm just using some packaging here to kind of smush it around, and then I immediately kind of dab it up so it's not super dark. But I like how that looks. It's fun to kind of mix and match darks and lights, especially when both of those colors are in the layout. And I like how that looks. I think it kind of anchors everything, since I've got so many light colors and now I've got some dark. Now I'm gonna just play around with some things here. I'm gonna add, I do decide to add some pops of red, orange, and the navy. I do a lot of thinking, and when I can't decide exactly what I want to do, I start to add in some thread, and that's just something that, it's just one of my personal things that I love to do. It's something that easy that you can add, that's going to add instant texture, instant color. Anywhere you need something small of a certain color, thread is great, because you can just tangle some of it up, tuck it under, and there you go. And you know, I know it's not necessarily considered a clean element. It looks kind of messy and random, but I kind of like that look, you know, and I know some people do, some people don't, but I think it's fun to use it to add little pops of color and just to add a little bit more of the messy factor. You know, I like to make messy backgrounds and get kind of random sometimes, and so the thread kind of echoes that. And you can certainly recreate this layout without any of the mixed media, without any of the thread. It's just your own personal preferences. So I'm liking how this is looking. I'm going to go ahead and glue down the pictures because I know they're going to go there. And I purposely kind of make them a little bit crooked. Don't want them perfectly straight, because look at the pictures themselves. Nobody in there is perfectly straight. I have probably 30 pictures, and I don't think any of them turned out super great. And then I thought, you know what? These are pretty great. I'm going to use them. They make me laugh. So these are some paper pieces, die cuts, and I'm going to just add some flowers and a little tab to the left there that says family time. And then I'm going to play around with this chipboard frame. I like that it's small and that it's orange, and I'm going to cut it in half and use half of it up top and half of it underneath the pictures, just for a little pop of that orange color. I didn't want to add too much more on top of the pictures because I overlapped those flowers, and I didn't want to make it too busy or take away from what's in the pictures. So I'm going to go ahead and just slice off everything that's hanging off the page, because there's a lot. And now it's all nice and neat. And I decided I need more pops of orange, so I'm going to add that cute little owl. Looks like he's sitting on the leaf, and then a little chipboard bird down at the bottom. So now I've got pops of orange in 3 places. I'm going to add more color to the background. These are some pink splatters because I've got that pink color going on. And I'm amazed that I did not get any on my photos. I usually try to cover them up, and I did, but I took it off for some reason. So I struggled with what to use for my title. There are lots of things in this collection, but they just didn't fit, or it wasn't the right color because of the way I'd situated the leaves. So I went through my stash of the tiny text alphas from Bella, and I decided to use some of the gray, so it's kind of tone on tone, and then I'm going to use some pink to finish it off. And it's just going to say Our Crazy Family. And I put Our Crazy in gray, and then I'm going to use the pink capital letters for family. And I am going to wind up machine stitching through both of those lines, mainly because when you use gesso or paint or anything like that on the background, stickers of any kind don't really like to stick, and so I machine stitch through those, so they're officially down. I decided my journaling would look good right there in the middle underneath the title, so I drew some lines, wrote it in, and I'm going to add a couple of the fundamental stickers here. I'm going to go with some hearts just to add more pops of all the colors that I've used. I'm going to use this little pink sticker here that says My Tribe. And I am going to add the date stamp. I think I do that off camera. But I'm almost getting ready to be finished. I think it's about wrapped up. I'm going to add another little flower sticker. And there's the final layout. I love how this turned out. You can see how the background has taken on more of a subtle role, and it makes everything pop off the page. The pictures, the die cut, so it's not too distracting, I don't think. But anyway, check out this collection. It's really fun. It's really cute. It's called Mind Your Manners. And all this week on the Bella blog, everyone is going to be using this collection to come up with different projects. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know if you have any questions about anything. And I hope you have a great week. And I will see you in the next video.